Hi, everyone. Welcome tonight. I'm Mrs. Krumar. I'm one of the counselors. We are joined by many of our best at DMS here. And as you know, we had Wellness Week this week. We've thoroughly enjoyed working with our students. We brought Kim on because of her, she's known for her digital wellness and her social media component. And so she blends very well with wellness and then on a platform where we feel like we can make a difference. So counselors, ASB leadership collaborated with her all week. So she's been around all week. On Monday, every student did the emotional self-care kit. So if you have time to talk to your kids, ask them about their favorite songs, their favorite smells, their favorite touches. Ask them what they created for their wellness kit. The wellness kit is things that make them happy to help them when their moods get a little low, when they need a pickup, because we all get low sometimes, but it's good to have those tools. And if we can have it in a nice little kit that Kim gives us, it is wonderful. The seventh graders and some sixth that they were blended in eighth also are doing a 21-day digital wellness challenge. So you can ask them how that's going if you have seventh graders. But we've worked and collaborated with Kim all week. She's amazing. She's passionate. She has the best intentions and desires for our students. And so we're very privileged to know her. And I'd like to welcome her to teach us more.
Yay, thanks crew. I love it. Thank you guys so much for being the parents and showing up tonight. I will tell you it is getting recorded. That's one. And then B is we love when you take pictures. If there's some kind of slide that I pull up, if you want to take a picture and be able to share it up on your social media sites, like we're all about social media, so that actually helps us and helps promote us. So please feel free. And then if there are any questions, I know the team, if you want to put them in the chat and the team will have them at the end that we can then kind of address them. So, but my goal is to hopefully answer questions, give you some tools that you can feel comfortable to be able to, walk away for yourself for digital wellness and even digital safety for you and your children at home, right? So let's get us started here. So our nonprofit is called I Can Help, and we truly are here to educate and empower students and adults to use devices for good, right? Like that's what we kind of get to do. The three things we get to make happen is we get to empower student change makers. So today I actually got to go speak to 100 and gosh, what was it, 100 and something leaders. How much was it? 120?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 120 student leaders today and taught them how they can be the change makers online. I will tell you, they told us some of the issues that they are still seeing. And number one is, it is hard to learn without the cameras on and making sure that they're engaged, right? So the other thing is when they did have their cameras on, people were taking pictures of them. So it is empowering them on how they can handle it to make it more successful and what they can do. They were telling us different things like, people are still feeling lonely. And so we were walking them through the different steps of what they can do to empower them to be able to make that change. So that's what I'm hoping here tonight is that we can empower you as parents to be able to help be digital change makers as well. We're here to promote digital safety, and then we get to celebrate youth innovation of them when they do it, because I think we so focus on all the negative stuff and we don't focus enough on the positive stuff. And I think you need to be more dramatic about the positive things than the negative stuff. I mean, think about it. When your child actually does their chores or makes their bed, do you celebrate that? Or do you only focus it on it when they don't do it? And if you start focusing on when they do it, you'll be surprised on how much that can kind of change, and they'll start doing it more often. So I'm just making sure you guys we have to start celebrating those small things. So we're going to start with a little activity. Mallory is my lead intern on the left, and she is a junior at University of Las Vegas. She's a journalism major, and she helps me oversee we have over 150 interns nationwide. We're in 18 states and 5 countries. So she is amazing. And then I'm on the right. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to use the Zoom reactions. You'll raise your hand if you vote for Mallory and raise your thumb if you vote for me. So this is, again, just an interactive activity to kind of show a point of what we're kind of doing here on the digital wellness side of it, to kind of put you in the role of your child, right? So here we go. So again, at the bottom, there is the reactions next to the chat button. So who do you think is taller? Who do you think is taller? If you think it's Mallory, raise your hand. If you think it is me, raise your thumb. So there should be little reactions that you can put up in the Zoom. Perfect. Good job, Jeff. Way to vote. Put on your hand if you think, oh, Sammy's got her thumb up. Good. Perfect. Yes. Oh, I see you, Curtis. Good job. All right. Perfect. Okay. All right. Perfect. Here we go. Next question. Who do you think is more athletic? Who do you think is more athletic? Raise your hand for Mallory. Raise your thumb for me. Who do you think is more athletic? All right, I see you, Sylvia. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay, Sammy, I see your reaction. Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor. Yes, Curtis. All right, here we go. Next one is Us Magazine called. Us Magazine called. They want to know who wore it best. Who wore the I Can Help t-shirt best? Was it Mallory? Raise your hand. If it was me, raise your thumb. Who do you think wore it best? Go ahead and place your votes. Put them in. I see you, Alex. Yes. Yes, Mr. Taylor. Perfect. Mr. Barr. Yes. Robert. Perfect. Way to get your votes in. Way to lock them in. Good job, crew. All right. And last one. Who do you think is hotter? Who do you think is hotter? Go ahead and put your votes in. If you think it's Mallory, put your hand up. If you think it's me, put your thumb up. Who do you think is hotter? Put your thumb up for me. Put your hand up for somebody. Put the crying face emoji. I love it, Jeff. I would put your hand up if you think it's Mallory. All right, perfect. So here's the thing, right? I just want to make sure it's very clear. This is hard. This is exactly what's happening. When you ask people, hey, Mallory, what did it feel like to get voted on? The number one response from that she would have is, it feels really awkward, right? It feels super awkward. It feels really weird, feels really uncomfortable. But this is exactly what's happening. Students are voting on different things, right? They're voting on different things. Even adults are putting people in the situations of this. It feels awkward. And then you ask the students, hey, what did it feel like to have to vote? Even you, what did it feel like to have to vote? Go ahead and put it in the chat for me. What did it feel like to have to vote on some of those questions? And some of you guys didn't vote. Why didn't you vote? And I saw some of you voted for, they were trying to put a both. They were trying to put a both. It was very uncomfortable, right? So like that's where you're at. And so what we're trying to teach students and even adults, when something doesn't feel right, when something doesn't feel comfortable, feels anxious, yeah, then should you participate, right, on those kind of different things when it is uncomfortable, when it doesn't feel right, when there's a moral like compass there. You didn't know you had icons. Okay, I love it, Alex. Yeah, great. So just making sure you guys do see this, like that they understand when it gets uncomfortable. Like it starts off cute, like who is taller, like there's an actual real answer to that. But then, and then even who wore it best, I think that can be kind of a cute question as long as people's feelings don't get hurt. But then when you get into like who's more athletic, it can get really awkward. Mallory sees me as more athletic because I played 2 sports in college. She's a dancer at UNLV. She's like, I'm just a dancer. Are you kidding me? The dancers are sometimes the most athletic people. They can move their legs straight up in the air, right? So it's just this conversation we need to have, because here's where we're at with adults. Adults, it's not with, you know, who's hotter and whatever else. It's, hey, mask or no mask, let's vote. Should you have to wear a mask? Should you not have to wear a mask? Let's vote. Hey, Black Lives Matter or all lives matter? Let's go ahead and vote on that. Hey, Democrat or Republican? Let's go ahead and vote on that. Let's go ahead and put out our opinions out online. And it's getting really awkward. Put in the chat if you've ever felt awkward with any of those topics from social media, from your friends or your peers, of what they've posted, and you're like, oh, this is really uncomfortable. That they put out their opinion, they put their different stuff out that you got super uncomfortable, right? Yeah, with your family, exactly. Now imagine yourself as a child who has a hard time deciding. So I'm just making sure you guys do kind of see and why this is important for you guys to be here tonight. And I'm going to teach you some tips of what we can do, because it is so important to have these conversations as a family, and as parents, because there is a lot of mental health that's going on. If you don't know this, here's some facts for you. Here's some facts. 40% of teens don't turn to adults for help. I'll say it again, 48% of teens don't turn to adults for help. And think about it. Think about it. Adults are not turning to their parents for help anymore. It's so easy to go Siri and be like, hey, how long does it take to cook corn? I no longer need to call my mom and ask her how long that takes. I can just look it up myself. And this is exactly what students are doing as well, right? It's so much easier to go either online or talk to their friends online and get the answers that they want. 60% of kids 8 to 12 have suffered some kind of a situation, right? Companies like myself who deal with reporting, we've had a massive increase, 81% increase with having to deal with cyberbullying. Everything from Black Lives Matter to the elections, to no masks, fake sites where because they're so bored at home, and there's no supervision, kind of a piece of what they're doing on gaming devices as well, making sure that's very clear on their headphones when they're having the conversations, that they're not having that supervision, because it's just kind of like, oh, we're in quarantine, just go do whatever you need, right? And there's not any supervision there. The last one is there's a number 2 cause of death nationwide is suicide for 10 to 24-year-olds. And I will tell you, males are massively high as well. Like, that's a big thing, the males, because they have no one to turn to have conversations about these feelings are normal. You're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna feel sad, sometimes you're gonna feel depressed. These feelings are kind of normal, that they don't have someone to talk to. They're also comparing themselves to others a lot online. So we just need to make sure we are having these conversations with our child about these things. This is an area. I live in Northern California, and this is one of my close friends. This is actually her son golfing at in the golf course. They're fishing in a golf course, and yes, you're not technically supposed to be fishing there for whatever reasons, but it's during COVID. All these boys want to do is just be able to be outside and go fishing. An adult wanted to put it up on the local Facebook page. Are these your children? If so, please teach your children the golf course lagoon is not a place to fish. Within literally 1 hour, there were over 1,000 comments from adults, either bashing on those kids and the parents of those kids, or bashing on the lady who posted this, saying, hey, those are children, you shouldn't be posting it. Bashing, bashing, bashing. Here's the thing, it's like, I mean, look, oh yeah, she hates white people, it's obvious. And then they wanted to post that out too, right? So now they're even digging up different stuff about Black Lives Matter and her huge just discrepancy between the way Black people are treated and white threatening people, right? So this is what she wanted to post. So they went and found her personal page and then wanted to throw her under the bus too. This is where we're at with adults. Students see this, of how we're reacting to things. They see this. I will tell you within 2 hours, because I got notified of it, I confronted a bunch of adults. They messaged this lady. She did take down this post. She did send a message to both those parents apologizing and made things right. But now you've got all these other people who are making these comments and bashing on it. And this is the reason why I tell students they're not our future. They're 100% our right now, because students are actually figuring out this world way better than adults sometimes. And the big thing I try to tell adults, and by the way, we call this what we call digital first responder. You're the first one to the scene. If you see something like this on Facebook or on Nextdoor or whatever social media platforms you're on, if you don't think this is right, you need to speak up. You need to say, hey, this isn't right with me. This is not cool. Even direct message them. You don't need to put it on a public comment. I usually send them a direct message saying, hey, you might want to think about taking this down. You're the first ones to the scene. And this is exactly what we tell students to get them to do it, because you don't see all their TikToks that what they're seeing. You don't see all their snaps. You don't hear everything they're doing on games. So if we teach them correctly, we can teach them how to be that digital first responder. They're the first ones to the scene, just like a car accident. If you saw a car accident, you call 911. I would like that would be the first step. The second step would even be stopping to check on the person. Third step is even going up to the car to make sure, do they need any kind of, do they need any first aid, right? Those are all the steps you could take. The question is, will you? So it's just those kind of conversations I'm hoping you as an adult need to start seeing. And the other thing I want to make sure you as an adult see is this: stay in your lane. Know what your lane is and stay in it. Because a lot of people want to, be the one who fixes things because they see one thing or whatever else. Know what your lane is, and who you're trying to be in charge of. And again, making sure you understand, like, the school has certain jobs. It's hard right now being a school because there's so many different things they have to figure out. There's a lot of rules, but a lot of people want to be judgy. This is why teenagers are having such a hard time with mental health, is because so many people are judgy and they're wanting judgmental, and that I can be better. And, I have this better life. And this is the reason why that mental health is there. We as an organization, we're trying to create, what we are creating is this kind of house mentality. When I was growing up, I could go home and I was safe in my four walls. When the students go home, they're not safe, right? They still have this here. So we need to make sure we're creating that safe space of what they're doing. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that, right? So we're doing that by helping, by building a certain community, by educating them, right? By having our trainings, and then also having them be charge of a leader. We actually, everything you see, if you ever check out our Instagram, I Can Help Official, we have a TikTok, I Can Help Official. Both those accounts are 100% ran by our students, our student volunteers. Everything from college down to 13-year-olds. If they're 13, they can be a volunteer with us. They run 100% because we believe they should be leading the way for us. A lot of the Facebook and Twitter stuff is also students, but we do have some educators and adults that help us post. So I'm going to do is I'm going to do another little activity, just because I think this is good for you to see. So you're going to raise your hand. You use your reactions. So if you see in the bottom, I think it was Alex that said this. There's on the bottom right, there's reactions. If you don't have it, it's okay. But if you want to turn your camera on, you can do it that way too. If not, it's okay. But you're going to just simply raise your hands if you've ever had this feeling. So raise your hand if you've ever sent a text message to the wrong person before. If you've ever sent a text message to the wrong person before, raise your hand. And look at how many people have their hand raised. When you send a text message to the wrong person, anxiety goes up. So this is the reason why anxiety and depression has increased 37% since smart devices came out in 2017. Because there's so many different new situations and new emotions that come with those devices. Raise your hand if you've ever been in an awkward group chat. If you've ever been in an awkward group chat before. And if you ask students, you should see how many have their hands raised. A lot of adults aren't in that, but I will tell you, ask your child, are you in group chats? Again, when they get into that awkward group chat, anxiety goes up. And when you get, what we'll do is one of their friends will put them in a group chat and they won't know whose number is in there. So that's what gets awkward about it. So even asking them, hey, what group chats are you in? Can you show me your group chats? Raise your hand if you have ever had to block or mute anyone before. If you've ever had to block or mute anyone before. And does your child know how to do those things? Right? Making sure you see that. Raise your hand if you have ever felt anxiety before. If you've ever felt anxiety before. And this is something, again, are you talking about that with your child? When you're feeling it, like, hey, right now this is what's happening to me. It's a normal feeling. Here's the reason why I have this anxiety. And once you talk about it, you claim it, you take power over it, right? You take some power back from it. Raise your hand if you've ever felt any kind of depression before. If you've felt any kind of depression before, sadness, right? Any kind of depression. Again, anxiety and depression has increased 37% since smart devices. If we kind of normalize it by talking about it, it makes it so much easier for them to be able to kind of admit to what they're doing, right? Raise your hand if you or someone you know has ever been asked for inappropriate photos before. If you or someone you know has ever been asked for inappropriate photos before. And again, even though your child is in middle school, this is something you have to start having conversations about, because they are getting asked if it's like a picture of them in their swimsuit or their pajamas or underwear, like they're starting to get asked for that. Just want to make sure you are kind of knowing and being prepared for it. So anxiety does go up. They don't know how to handle those situations, and walking them through to make sure they have it. We did team up with Providence Health. Oh, hang on one more. I forgot to ask one more, sorry. Raise your hand if you or someone you know has ever had suicidal thoughts. If you or someone you know has ever had suicidal thoughts. Right? And this is where we're at. Like, there's so many people who've had this. It's increasing. Our world's in a dark place. So we need your help. I'm so glad you're here tonight to be able to start helping. And I'm going to give you the tools. So this is exactly what Miss Kay was talking to about the 7th graders. We teamed up with Providence Health. So they're a mental health a hospital out of Oregon. And then Wellbeing Trust is the nonprofit of them. So we teamed up with them to be able to create, so we actually have trained professionals, psychologists who adapted this curriculum, because we're going to create that emotional first aid kit. So every single student created got this, went through the video. The 7th graders are doing even more with their wellness week. Is when you're bleeding, right? If you're bleeding, you know to put a Band-Aid over it, right? But what do you do when you are sad, when you are lonely, right? You don't know what to do. You need to create this emotional first aid kit. So in that chat, get ready for it. In the chat, we're going to start creating your first aid kit. The first thing that's in there is, what are the songs that make you happy? List a song that makes you happy, because I don't know about you, but it's called Good Day. Whenever this song gets played, there's just something about it that makes me feel way better. Right? So put it in the chat. What is your song? What's the song that just is like, this is my hype song? Yes, high hopes. Don't be worried, be happy, Rodney. Yes, happy. Love it. All Dave Matthews, yes. And it is like, develop this tool, like ask your kid, what's a song that makes you happy? And then what's a song that makes you relaxed, right? Like, what's a song that, like, maybe you're stressed out. What's a song that you can play to kind of calm you down, get you to kind of relax? Those are the kind of things you need to ask your kid. Help them create this emotional first aid kit, right? And help them even like, hey, this is my first aid kit, right? The second thing that's in your first aid, oops. Oh yeah, we'll just go through this. Here we go. The second thing that's in there is sights. Sights is even something simple, is like, what's your screensaver? Oh, whenever I do this, it always does this. It's like, what's your screensaver on your phone? I actually, if you guys can see it, let me stop sharing here. Like, my screensaver right now, like one of my screensaver is me and my sister for my birthday from like a couple summers ago. I wish it's Sam. And then the other one here is me and my niece, right? Like from a cruise. So it's just super cool, like figuring out what's that picture. So what's your screensaver? Yeah, Christian rapped to my kids because the music now is right. Exactly. The music is so different, and there is proven facts like how it does affect you mentally on like what's going on. So making sure you do have that, right? And having that conversation with them to expose them to some kind of positive music. So what is your screensaver? And changing that picture every so often, and ask them if they've got a phone, ask them, hey, let me see your screensaver. What makes you happy? I actually today during the session, I actually had the students pull out their photos, and I had them go like this and then hold up the picture and explain what that picture was. Like, it's just kind of fun to be able to do. And it's like, it sparks emotion out of them and be like, oh, this is my friends. Like, this is really ugly. And one of them was like, this is a really ugly picture of me and my friends. And like, they hold it up, and then it made them laugh. I was like, clearly it's so ugly, it makes you happy. And they're like, absolutely. So just spark some energy out of them to be able to show them that that's what they can do to completely change your mood. The third one is touch. Like, this is simple. Touch is like, I don't know, everything from, stress balls to, I always have by my desk, I always have a soft blanket. It's for when I get cold, but it also is if I like and get nervous, Like I have it here. It's so comfortable to have this furry blanket next to me. Weighted blankets are huge right now. I bought all my seniors last year for their graduation gift. I bought them a weighted blanket because it truly feels like you're being hugged. Where's my quarantine people who bought a quarantine pet? Right? Shout out to all the quarantine animals, because everyone's like, I need something to soothe me. And that's what totally it is. Yes. Right. The next one is smells. Like, what are the smells that make you happy? What are the smells that make you happy? Like mine, I don't know about what it is, but there's something about popcorn that just makes me so happy. And like cookies, sugar cookies is like totally my smell. And then ask yourself, what are the smells that make you, again, relaxed? That's why essential oils are so big, and they do make you relaxed, because it's proven facts that peppermint, lavender, those are the two, and mint, those three smells are the ones that relax you the most. So that's why essential oils are there. And so a lot of students are realizing it. Actually, today, I had quite a few students who held up their essential oils right in front of the camera. They're like, look, I got my essential oils. So their parents have them set. Right. And there you go, Alex. I love it. Incense. Yeah. So what are they? Then number 5 is humans. Like, who are your humans? I think that's important for you to tell your kids. Who are your people you turn to? Who are the people that check in on you on a regular basis? Besides your spouse, right? Who is checking on you to make sure you're okay? And then ask them, hey, who's checking in on you? Who are you checking in on? And asking those kind of questions, because when they check in on somebody else, it'll make them turn it back into them. Right? So asking and queuing up those questions really will help with the mental health and even the digital wellness, because it is important. Hey, shout out those people you can go to when you know there is a problem. And the last one of my favorites, is taking action. When you're feeling these different things, what are you doing about it? Are you getting up to go for a walk? Are you, I go exercise every day. But I love to cook when I am stressed. I love to dance. I call it dance therapy. So I love to hear your answers in the chat. Like, what are the things that you do? Is it organized? Is it clean? Is it, some people, a student told me they were like, I love to vacuum. There's just something about it. Like, that's a student answer. I was like, I'm sure your parents love you for it. They're like, absolutely. So it's showing them and talking about this really, really helps. Yes, dance therapy. Exactly. Right? So I'm hoping you guys see this, and it is going to this, how can you control your device to be able to control your life? This is all what digital wellness is, showing them ways that you have control. We have to spend, I love it. Yeah, exercise, guitar, jiu-jitsu, nice. With a playlist, yeah, right? Going for a run, nice. Driving my daughter, I love it, Alex. That's awesome. Fun. Go for a walk. Oh, clean too, yes. I love it. Right? So all these are great answers. And again, are you sharing these with your students, so that your child, so that they understand, like, this is my emotional first aid kit. This is why I'm doing this, right? This is how I'm getting rid of some stress. But then if you go to this list here, it is, we have to take our life back, because I am forced to be on, because of work, I am forced to be on this device quite a few hours, an insane amount of hours. But I will tell you, I do use a lot of these. When I can, I actually take my phone and I actually put it far away where I can't even touch it, because then it helps me not to even be around it. Some people put it on airplane mode. These, by the way, which is super cool, all these answers were given to us by students. They're telling us what they do to be able to have control of these devices. They know to like log, like they're like, you know what, I'm so addicted to Snapchat, I actually log off of it, so I don't use it during the day, and I log back in when I want to. I've actually heard a lot of adults, they've actually done that. They've actually logged off of Facebook now, off their phone, and they only log in on a computer when they want to look at it. And that way it just makes it so you don't have to sit there and scroll through it. 24-hour digital detox. And again, I know it's hard to totally get rid of a phone because I use it so much for work. But what if you said, hey, I'm going to go 24 hours where I don't use these apps? What if I go 24 hours where I don't, spend time on this? You can do those kind of 24-hour things. What about set restrictions on screen time? I have mine set up for, especially for TikTok, I have it set up where I can only spend 40 minutes on TikTok, because if I don't, it can go in a rabbit hole, right? I can go in a rabbit hole of just like wanting to scroll. So these are all examples. Why not stack your phones? Stack your phones when you're having dinner. If you don't know this, let me actually stop screen sharing. Samsung device people, you can do this now. They just change it, but you can actually get your screen time. So if you go to settings, you actually go, and if you want to, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to the top where it says view, you can put it in speaker view. So it makes me so I'm highlighted. So you can actually make it so I'm highlighted for you. And it should just get me so that you can see me bigger. That's cool. All right, perfect. So let me make, sorry, now I got the wrong one. Okay. So if you go to settings, you can actually go up here to where it says screen time, and if you do it with me while I'm doing it with you, right? There's screen time. It has like a little what do you call that? Charades with me. What's the little timer? The little timer thing, right? So if you go to screen time, I can see what my daily average use is, and I will tell you it's high because I actually use this a lot. I'm on an app called Clubhouse where I actually get interviewed by people. So I have a daily average. I'm using it 7 hours and 53 minutes. So it tells me my daily, and then I can actually go to it and I can see my weekly. See all activity. And so then if I see all activity, it tells me how much time I'm spending and where. So I have 15 hours on Clubhouse. I have 4 hours on Instagram. I have 1 hour on messages, 1 hour and 12 minutes on email, 32 minutes on photos, 19 minutes on Facebook, and 19 minutes on Snapchat. So it tells me exactly where I'm spending my time. And you can do that on Samsung phones now too. So what's kind of cool is when you're with your students, with your kids and your family, I actually make it a competition. And I don't do it as like, don't get mad at them. It's more like, hey, let's pull it out. Who's got the highest today? Who's got the highest today? Who's got the highest for the week? Who's got the lowest? Right? Make it as like a slight competition and just kind of as a fun. And it's just really to start dialogue, start conversation, to be able to have that. So making sure you guys do see, and then that's when you can say like, you know what, I think to get this to go down, I'm going to set up screen time. Because I actually knew I was using TikTok way too much. So I now, if you notice, I didn't even say TikTok because I'm actually not even on it because I'm doing the 21. If you don't know, the 7th graders are doing it, but if you'd like to on our website, actually, if Jen, if you want to pull that up, if you can pull the link up maybe. If you'd like to participate, if you can go to our website, it's in the very front, so iCanHelp.net. But if you want to join, it's a 21-day digital wellness challenge. And what it is, it's basically the first day is you got to decide on one app that you want to get rid of for 21 days. I actually chose TikTok because I was like, you know what, I can get rid of that for 21 days. I think the next one, I can't remember what the next one is, but it's, an hour before you go to bed. It's really good for you to go to bed before, to not use your device an hour before bed. So that should be a habit for you to use for you and your children. If you want your child to do it, you've got to practice it. Right? That's kind of bad expectations. If you yourself as adult can't do it, why should you expect them to do it as a child? So if you want to participate with them, and even if your child's not in 7th grade, I would suggest you guys all doing this as a family together because it's a really good reflective thing. Each video, it's like 3-minute videos. It was made by a wellness coach that we work with. She actually lives in Australia, but she's Indian, so she's got a really cool accent. So I could listen to her accent all day. She created it with 4 of our interns. 2 of them are in college and 2 of them are in high school. So each day it's a different person doing the videos. They're under 3 minutes. And then there's discussion questions at the end to have you reflect on how your challenge went. So I'm just hoping you guys see that because it is kind of a fun thing. It's $5. If you want to donate $15, that's again, because we're a nonprofit, that's what that's for. So we'd love for you guys to kind of help us spread the word on that. The other one, I think this is what I'd also do, is I make this a competition. So let's make it a competition of who can do it the fastest. And I get it if you don't want to have your camera on, so we'll just have you raise your hand if you get it first. But I do a scavenger hunt for settings. So I think most people have Instagram, so let's do Instagram. So on Instagram, whoever can get to where you can report a picture or report a page first, raise your hand. So see who can get to on Instagram, see who can find how to report a page. And then raise your hand when you are there. Figure out how you can report a page and see who can get to it first. Oh, Rodney's got it. Yes. Oh, he went to my page. You're going to report my page? Is that what you're going to do? I love it. I love it. Love it. Yeah. And again, you just make it as like a fun game. But what's interesting, a lot of times you don't know, like, what about this one? On, oh, you don't use Instagram. Okay, Sammy. Sammy, in the chat, put it in there. Do you use TikTok? Can you put it in the chat? Do you use TikTok? Or I can use Facebook. Which one do you use? Tell me when I'll no. Do you use Facebook? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's do Facebook. All right. On Facebook. Are you ready? Here we go. I would like you to go into Facebook and find where are the guidelines. What are the rules of Facebook? See if you can find where the rules of Facebook are, because every single company has rules and they have guidelines that you had to like click a box, but now can you go and find them? So come on, Sammy, let's see if you can find the Facebook guidelines. And even if your kids on Fortnite, if they're on Roblox, if they're on Discord, if they're on Minecraft, all those sites have some kind of guidelines. And I think it's important for you to have a little fun scavenger hunt to see if your child can find these things. Can anybody find it? Rodney's determined. I see him. Oh my gosh, look at him. Terms of service. Yeah, you got it. Yep, you got it. Rodney, what did you do? How'd you find it?
You have to go all the way bottom right. There is settings, and then you've got to scroll all the way to the bottom to help and support.
There
then
you go.
Slightly a little bit more digging.
But, yep.
But you get to the terms and conditions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't even have to like even have it on your phone. Like a lot of parents ask, well, do I need to have TikTok? Do I need to have Snapchat? My answer is whatever you feel comfortable with, right? Every parent is different. But if your child is using Snapchat, if they're using TikTok, if they're using Fortnite, if they're using Roblox, you should know what they can do on those sites. You should know how they're using it and who they're talking to. If you want to know who your kid hangs out in real life, you should know who they hang out with on these devices, right? And again, it's really helpful. And I will tell you, mental health wise, no, you should be checking your bill, even though most plans now, service things are unlimited. Like know how much Wi-Fi they're using, because if it goes up or if it goes down, then that can lead to, that's a big sign of mental health. Here's some other just little small things I wanted to show you as parents, for especially the wellness side of it, is I will tell you peer groups and social connections is so important during mental health. So think of your child as back when they were like in kindergarten or even pre-K, you had a range for like kid play dates. Same thing needs to happen now during quarantine. You need to make sure that you arrange, especially depending on what your household's like, if you're allowing them to go visit somebody or if you want them to be social distancing, totally fine, but you need to help them organize a planned kind of a play date. If it is by Zoom or if it is by, FaceTime or whatever, you need to help them with that, because peer group and social connections is so important right now for their mental health. Opportunities to feel competent. You need to find ways where you can make them feel competent. If it is to cook with you, if it is for them to show you how to do something on TikTok, allow that, right? Have them. I love making students feel really competent by saying like, oh, I know how to use TikTok very well, actually, but a lot of times they play dumb so that they can show me, so that I can make them feel like they're the smartest person in the world. Being a part of the solution is so important. Allow them, if there is a problem, allow them to walk through. Well, what do you think? Hey, this is a problem we're having with it as a family. How can we fix that? Have them help you create solutions. Helps them with their mental health. Helps them with becoming adults. I find it really interesting because actually during quarantine, a lot of students are actually thriving off of it because they're using different thought process. They're using a lot of soft skills. They know, hey, great, what is it called? Homework comes out at midnight. And so at midnight, I'm going to stay up until midnight. I'm going to do my homework, turn it in. I don't need to go to class tomorrow. And they just turn it in and they take the day off. So students have figured out like a system, like they figured out like, oh, I'm going to be a part of the solution here. Changes, remember that this age group does have a lot of change in the parent-child relationship because again, they're trying to find their independence. That's a huge piece. Safety. Your safety and their safety, because they want to have, again, they have that like Superman syndrome. So they're not thinking the same way you are. So I always kind of walk them through like, what are the benefits and what are the risks? and just make sure that they're talking out the benefits and what are the risks. And I think then that's when you can make them start thinking about safety. And then the last one is definitely like the mental health component, right? Making sure you can check in with them, kind of like almost a daily check-ins, like, hey, 1 to 5, how are you feeling today? So that they feel comfortable being able to kind of share that. We do celebrate students, their success stories of what they're doing online. I think it's super cool. Like this one's, this group, Teenager Therapy, is down in Anaheim. They created a podcast when they were sophomores in high school. They're now seniors. They've actually got a ton of press release because they have gotten, this is actually quadrupled in numbers. They got a whole bunch of popular influencers on their show. And then they actually got Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was on their podcast. So we get to celebrate that and we get to tell students about that. So actually today when we spoke, there was a girl from Day Middle School that wants to start a podcast now because of the story. Like, how cool is that? Right? So when you tell positive stories, positive things will happen. So, and this is our map of our year-long interns, but we have more volunteers and different people. But this is how cool it is that we get to kind of know ahead of time what's going on because of those students. So here's kind of what, this is from actually last year at Day Middle School is, hey, each of you guys came in here today. Each of you guys can help. The question is, will you? And what will you do? Right? And I love that somebody actually sent this to me. They took a picture and wrote it down and sent me this picture that they're going to share some of the tips that they got out of this with their friends, either on social media or in person. So I'm hoping you guys just think about it, of what you guys can do. It does help us when you guys follow our social media platforms. So I'll put those in the chat. Is there any questions?
I think it's cool that you're going to have everyone that went to your leadership meeting today post something positive at 7 p.m. today. Something
Yeah, so and actually I already had some people tag me. Yeah, so all the leaders today that were there, they're going to be posting something positive. I think I got a couple of people who've sent me a positive affirmation, which is really neat. I do want to drop this in the chat. If you guys like tonight's this link that I'm just putting in the chat, that's actually our free online safety. So it really dives in more. If you want to know more about like Snapchat and those kind of things, it really dives in. Then I'm going to give you also, let's do this one too. If you want to know more about like the top social media apps, so if you don't know what Discord is, that is one of the higher growing ones. And so you can see how it gets used. That explains that. And then this is our Facebook and Instagram.
Do you want me to drop the parent guidelines down in there too?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Perfect. Yep, and then the parent guidelines. So then that just kind of gives you like, if you follow your, whatever your kids are on, you should make sure you have that there. And then I do want to make sure I do a shout out because I need to make sure I show this. Let me pull this back up. I know tonight was sponsored by School Site Council, brought me in, which was then paid by Title I. So if you guys have any questions about Title I, your admin is here, but that's basically, that's who paid for us to come in to be able to have this. They do funding to be able to really have those different gaps in. So if you don't know what Title I is, they have funds for these different programs to make sure we have curriculum for all of our schools, middle school, elementary, all those fun things. So that's who brought us in. So I appreciate that happening. Cool. Please, I'm going to put my email in the link. If anybody has any questions, you guys can email me. Please feel free. This is difficult times. We're here to support however we can, and we love helping. Remember to take deep breaths, for breaths in the inside and 4 breaths out. So there you go. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.